Hello students, this is from Karthika IAS Academy. We have started a new initiative. As many of the aspirants and students are embarking for optional, we have come with a new initiative regarding both online and offline. See, okay, you all know the importance of optional in UPSC scheme of preparation. It carries 500 marks. It carries 500 marks out of 2250. So you can understand the importance or the pie that it got in the whole preparation. So okay, here now I am going to discuss about strategy to score 320 plus in anthropology. Okay, fine. You might be thinking that is it possible to score 320 plus? Yes, see, 320 plus is a achievable score, but how? Yeah, with some dedication and strategy you can definitely get 320 plus, and it is not that every year you are going to get 320 plus. Let's see, some years aspirants are getting more than 350 plus in anthropology. So how can it is happening? Because see, actually in UPSC scaling method be taking. Scaling means, see, in mathematics there is nothing to cut marks, but in literature and in these optionals there are chances of cutting more marks, and you might be knowing that no one is going to get 10 out of 10 for every question, right? So see, if a student in mathematics getting 500 out of 500 marks, in optional in anthropology they are going to get around 380 marks, so that you can understand about what is this scaling method and all these things. So see, if the maximum mark in that year is 340, if you even score 290 plus, it shows that you are getting 320 marks. It shows that you are getting 320 marks. Yes. So see the strategy to score 320 plus in anthropology. Okay, we shall see myths and facts about optional scoring. Let's see, many people will be carrying myths and facts about preparation. We shall discuss, or we shall tackle the myths, and we shall burst over it. See, the first myth is it is impossible to score 320 plus in any optional. No, it's not like so. Few optionals like mathematics, sociology and anthropology are very catchy in nature, so that student can easily grab the mark of 300. An average student can even score 280 plus, and an exceptional student can get more than 340 plus also. Okay, it's all depend on the dedication that you are showing on the preparation stage. Yes, and the fact is that it is possible. Yes, it is possible with the right strategy to score 320 plus in optional anthropology. We have seen many records also. You might be listening Anudip Dirshetty sir, who scored 318 marks in his time, and you might be knowing 2 years back Nandini ma'am, who scored 364 marks in optional. So it is proven record that you can simply score 320 plus mark in an average year with this optional. See, and the myth is that only students from biological background, or people might be thinking that the student might have some MBBS knowledge or BPC knowledge. No, it is not there. Why? Because see, I already said Anudip Dirshetty sir, he is from BTech background. It shows that yes, a person with having no background from biology also can get this. Why I am saying in sure manner is that everyone starts preparation from beginning. So it shows that it is for everyone who starts with a single step only. So it shows that you don't need, it is not mandatory that you should need the knowledge about biology as a background. Next, why anthropology to other optionals? The thing is that we shall be discussing about the advantages with the anthropology. The advantages are, yes, it is very less syllabus in nature. When you take PSIR or geography as an optional, it carries a vast syllabus. But when it comes to anthropology, it is having very less syllabus and with more static in nature. The static capacity in optional anthropology is 90%, literally 90 to 95%. So it shows that you can get more score out of this static nature. Why? Because if answer is a ready-made one, you can definitely put the same in your answer. So it does not require a new skill, so that you can learn and you have to imbibe while learning anthropology optional. And see, you can revise multiple times before exam, as it carries of less syllabus with much ease with our concise and clear exam oriented notes. You are not there to go for any PhD like in anthropology. we are here to score only the mark of 320 and we are going to achieve the rank that we are expecting. That's it. So we have made, Kartikeya IAS Academy has made a concise and clear exam oriented notes so that students will get much ease in learning the things. Scoring in biological parts is rather easy. Why? Because see, if there is some theory like the thing, you have to fill the whole page. But in biological parts, when you are able to draw the diagram of a genetic structure, it shows that the ability that you got to understand the things, and this is the pandemic time and you have much catchy in understanding the more genetic part because of anthropology as an optional. See, tests are far more available than any other optional when comparing to the other optionals. Anthropology exam will be having many, you can get more tests in the market. See, paper 2 knowledge can be even used in essay writing and society topic in GS1. We have paper 2 where we shall be discussing about Indian society, village significance, tribal issues and everything. So all these will be part of GS1, GS2 also, and in essay writing also you can be using all this knowledge in your essay answer writing. See, next, strategy to score the 320 mark is that, see, as every optional, anthropology also has 2 papers, that is paper 1 and paper 2. Anyone who is teaching anthropology can simply cover the syllabus within 200 hours, so that the students can take in much simplicity to revise the whole syllabus within a month also. Within a month, a student can revise the whole syllabus. Next, it takes 130 hours for paper 1 and 70 hours for paper 2. As I already said, it is of 95% static and 5% of dynamic in nature. Students feel much ease and there is nothing there to spend more time in framing the answers. Books and materials. Everyone will embark on what are the books that we have to refer, or we shall be going for any other institute's notes for the references or so. No, you are not here to take much burden. Kartikeya IAS Academy has made a fully prepared notes with standard books, so that there is nothing there to spend even a single penny from your pockets in purchasing the standard books which cost thousands. See, wise people always spend more of their time in revising the things rather than gathering the notes. The only thing students has to do is that they have to write material given by faculty in hand, so that they can learn while writing, as this serves multi-purpose. The multi-purposes are nothing but you would be revising while you are writing. You can understand what are the things that are there in the notes. You can simply understand the things also. Who can score 320 plus marks in optional? Students with great listening skills during the class, completion of day's work within the stipulated time given by the faculty, by putting more time towards revision and answer writing. This plays a crucial role in getting the mark. And you might be seeing that many toppers have suggested that yes, because of answer writing and because of more tests only, they got these many marks in their main examination. With great dedication and complete belief on faculty is the much required one, so that, see, when you have much belief on the faculty, they will be guiding you and they will be hand holding you till your last stage of preparation. So you need a dedicated teaching faculty who would be supporting for your till your last stage of the examination. We shall be discussing about the syllabus in paper 1 part A. You might be knowing paper 1. In paper 1 we will be having part A and part B. First we shall be discussing about part A. See, as every optional carries the meaning and scope and development of every optional, this is also will be there in anthropology also. Next, relationship with other disciplines. What is the relationship between anthropology and social sciences, anthropology and behavioral sciences, anthropology and medical sciences, anthropology and earth sciences? And next, main branches of anthropology. Anthropology was subdivided into socio-cultural anthropology, biological anthropology, archaeological anthropology and linguistic anthropology. In socio-cultural anthropology, we shall be discussing both about society and cultural aspects in anthropology. In biological anthropology, you might be knowing everything about cell, genetic structure, how evolution has happened from ape to Homo sapiens. This is about biological anthropology. Next, in archaeological anthropology, we have come to know that man has formed a new form from ape. This is because of archaeological evidences that our scientists has got. This is regarding archaeological anthropology. And next, linguistic anthropology. Linguistic anthropology can be also taken as subpart of socio-cultural anthropology. In linguistic anthropology, we shall be discussing about how language influences the way or the behavior of people living in the society. Next, human evolution and emergence of man, and theories of organic evolution and everything shall be discussing over here. You might be knowing about Darwin theory. Survival of the fittest concept was given by Darwin. We have pre-Darwin theories and we also have post-Darwin theories. Why? Because Darwin theory is not the first theory regarding organic evolution. There are some pre-Darwin theories and there are some post-Darwin theories. In our class, we shall be discussing in a clear manner what are all these theories. Next, in 1.5, we shall be discussing about characteristics of primates, evolutionary trend, and next, primate adaptation also. Primate adaptation means that man has come from ape. During the ape, you might be knowing the legs of the ape, they cannot stand upright as we are standing here. So there is some modification that happened during the whole part, in the whole organic part, so that man in this right posture has come. Next, we shall be discussing about comparative anatomy of man and apes and the phylogenetic status. See, people will be feeling difficulty in understanding the things. When you learn this part, 25% of the part in phylogenetic status is completed. Why? See, I already said man and apes comparisons will be learning in the other topic also. Let's see. Man has come from first Australopithecus. Australopithecus evolved into Homo erectus. Homo erectus evolved into Neanderthals. Neanderthals evolved into Rhodesian man. Rhodesian man ultimately evolved into Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens. This is the stages of evolution. Yes, there are many intermediary stages between them, but UPSC has given this is the chart that a student has to learn. Why? Because it is not a clear evident that this is the path that they has taken. Many scientists across the world, many archaeologists across the world also discussing or debating over the what is the stage or the scheme of evolution. But UPSC, as UPSC has given, this is the form that we have to learn. As you see, these names might be first time for you in listening also, but when you read 3 or 4 times, it comes to your mouth. This is the easy way of learning the things. Next, biological basis of life, cell, DNA, etc. As I said, in biological anthropology, we shall be discussing everything regarding cell, DNA, the things that you learn during your 10th class and everything, we shall be repeating here. That's it. And next, in 1.8, we shall be discussing about dating methods. What is dating method? You might be knowing, everyone might be knowing about carbon dating. Carbon dating is also called C14 method. In carbon dating, we shall be knowing about the age of a thing on because of presence or decreasal capacity of the carbon in its content. And next, in cultural evolution, we shall be discussing about when man is evolving, he does not need only the biological evolution, he also should carry some cultural evolution also. In cultural evolution, we shall be discussing from Paleolithic. Paleolithic was divided into 3 stages: Upper Paleolithic, Middle Paleolithic, Lower Paleolithic. And it evolved into Mesolithic, it evolved into Neolithic, it evolved into Chalcolithic, it evolved into Copper Bronze Age, it evolved into Iron Age, and after that what we are seeing right now. This is the cultural evolution. Next, 2.1, the concept of culture and civilization, the concepts of ethnocentrism and cultural relativism, nature of society, social groups, social stratification. What is the social stratification? Social stratification is nothing but the division in an hierarchical form. It is called social stratification. Next, the concept of much ease, that is the marriage topic, marriage, family, kinship, economic organization and political organization. Next, 5th one, religion theories. In theories, we are having a total of 12 theories. In every optional, you shall be carrying few theories, but in anthropology, we are only having 12 theories. With much ease, we shall discuss each theory in a day in a simple and clear cut manner. What is the most important part that you should be focusing in paper 1? It is of theories only. So every day we shall be discussing one theory and students will be writing every answer in the class itself. Next, in 7 we shall be discussing about language and communication, and 8 research methods in anthropology. This is of part A in paper 1. Next we shall be discussing about part B in paper 1. Part B 9.1, 9.2, 9.3, all these will be carrying human genetics and various topics related to genetics. See, when you take optional anthropology during these pandemic times, UPSC might be asking some questions regarding coronavirus, the genetic structure, the vaccines in nature. All these things you will be getting very catchy because of optional anthropology. We shall be discussing each and everything in a detailed manner in human genetics part. Next, what are the chromosomal aberrations in 9.4? The concept of race. A standard question and a compulsory question will be coming from race every year. And next, genetic markers, and a standard question is coming every year from ecological anthropology. Ecological anthropology is nothing but about the ecological nature in anthropology. We shall be studying about hot in nature, we shall be discussing about cold, we shall be discussing about hilly terrain areas. And next, epidemiological anthropology regarding diseases, bacteria, viruses, fungi, protozoa, every pathogen will be discussing in epidemiological anthropology. Next, concept of human growth and development. This is also a very important topic and most of the questions coming from 10th one. 11.1 discusses about fertility events. Fertility events is nothing but fertility, fecundity, mortality, sterility, every normal things will be discussing in fertility events. In 11.2 we shall be discussing about demographic theories. 11.3 we shall be discussing about biological, socio-ecological factors affecting, I already said, about fecundity, fertility, natality and mortality. And 12th one, that is applications of anthropology. What are the applications of anthropology? Anthropology can be applied in sports, that is called sports anthropology. Regarding nutritious purposes, that is called nutrition anthropology. Regarding making of defense item, all these things, in all these things anthropology will be used, and you will be shocked how all these things will be used in daily life also. Let's take the example of forensic sciences. In forensic sciences, you will be learning everything regarding DNA and fingerprinting. Fingerprinting is also called as dermatoglyphics. You will be learning everything in applications of anthropology. This is also a very, very important topic where students can get more marks in applications of anthropology. This is the part in paper B, part B in paper 1. This is the syllabus from whole part 1. Next, this is of paper 2 in nature. In paper 2 also we shall be having both part A and part B. First, part A, evolution of Indian culture and civilization. Mainly paper 2 deals with about Indian society, village, tribal issues, everything shall be discussing in paper 2. See, tribal cultures to Indian civilization, what is the contribution of tribal cultures to Indian civilization. And next, paleoanthropological evidences from India. That is, in India also we got some of the evidences as we discussed early, that is Australopithecus and everything. In India also we found few archaeological evidences regarding Ramapithecus, Shivapithecus and Narmada Man. Next, ethnoarchaeology in India, demographic profile of India, traditional Indian social system, caste system, sacred complex, NMS complex, impact of various religions in Indian society. Everything we will be discussing in our class in a detailed manner. Next, about various anthropologies we have in chapter 4. In 5.1 we shall be discussing about village, Indian village significance, importance of village, various aspects of village, everything, settlement system, everything shall be discussing in Indian village as a total. In 5.2 we shall be discussing about linguistic and religious minorities that are there in India. In 5.3 we shall be discussing processes about Sanskritization, Westernization, modernization, Panchayat Raj and social change. All these topics are there in our GS1 in society. So it would be much helpful to write a GS1 answer with paper 2 knowledge. That is of part A. We shall be discussing about part B. 6.1 deals with tribal situation in India, how many tribes are there, and everything we shall be discussing in 6.1. 6.2 problems of tribal communities. You might be knowing tribal communities are facing many problems. We shall be discussing few problems like, see, the main problem is land alienation. What is land alienation? Eviction from owned land is known as land alienation. As we have seen, concretization of these cities led to displacement of tribals from their own land. So government has come with an act called Forest Right Act in 2006, where government is upholding the importance of land to tribals. We shall be discussing each and everything regarding problems of tribal communities in our class in a detailed manner. Next, 6.3, how development projects and rehabilitation issues are struggling with the tribal issues. See, when development projects are undertaking, tribal people are forcibly evicting from their lands. So it is important to learn how these things should catch a humanitarian approach so that none can suffer. It should be like a win-win situation rather than one who is mighty should win over the other. In 7.1, we shall be discussing about problems of exploitation and deprivation of various communities in India like SCs, STs and OBCs. Problems and the solutions, schemes that the government has come, the constitutional safeguard regarding these societies, everything shall be discussing over in 7.1, which you might be using in your GS2 even. Next, 7.2 discusses about social change and contemporary tribal society. How social change has happened in tribal way of life. Like, see, introduction of market or introduction of money, the monetization concept has changed the whole life of tribal in toto. We shall be discussing everything in 7.2. 7.3 carries the concept of ethnicity, regionalism and demand for autonomy for tribal people. You might be knowing before 2011 there is no state that is called Jharkhand. Why the state has come out of Bihar, Chhattisgarh and everything? Because tribal people or the local people found that the other states are accruing more benefits than the native people. So that's why they asked for autonomy and they requested the central government regarding new state, and it got accepted in 2011. Last one, that is 8.1, discusses about impact of various religions on tribals, how Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity and Islam impacted the tribal way of life. Next, tribe and nation state, the concepts of history of tribal administration, about PVTGs, particularly vulnerable tribal groups, role of NGOs for tribal development, role of anthropology in tribal and rural development, everything shall be discussing in 9.1 and 9.2. In 9.3, we shall be discussing about contribution of anthropology in understanding the concepts of regionalism, communalism, ethnic and political movement. This is the last part in paper 2 in paper B in part 2. This is the end of the topic. So that's why I clearly said the topics are very less in nature. So it does not take more than 200 hours. To complete the syllabus. And students can also revise the whole syllabus within a month. Students can revise and they can start the answer writing after that. Thank you.